Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. We've just learned this morning that there was a meeting that took place in Columbus last week when it comes to the future home of the Cleveland Browns. We've been reporting for quite a while that there appear to be two options on the table: renovating the current stadium downtown, in which the city wants to develop the area around the stadium. And then there is the second option that has gotten a lot of headlines. That is building in this area. You can see Cleveland Hopkins Airport there to the west, and just to the east of that, that big open plot of land in Brook Park. The idea of taking a stadium out of downtown and putting it in Brook Park, perhaps with some residential, some entertainment around that area, is intriguing, but not a lot of Browns fans, or not every Browns fan, is on board with that. Now let's get to last week's meeting. It took place Wednesday in Columbus with a delegation of lawmakers, mainly those who are here in Northeast Ohio, represent that area. In fact, we're going to welcome in Representative Bride Rose Sweeney. She represents the 16th district. That's Westlake, North Olmsted, and Berea, so the area that sort of butts up to this area. Representative, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about this meeting. Really, this is the first a lot of us are hearing about it. Were you invited to this as a pitch? What was the purpose of this meeting in Columbus last week?
Yeah, so this was a very preliminary meeting. This was the first time many lawmakers, including myself, had talked directly with the Browns. And this was a bipartisan meeting of the Northeast Ohio delegation that spanned even outside of Cuyahoga County. And it was some lawmakers' very first interaction of kind of what's going on, and was really just setting the stage. It's clear that regardless of what option there is, that there is going to be a state ask. And so this was just really setting the foundation, not a lot of details. But really, what I took away was that there's at least very positive and thoughtful dialogue happening between the city of Cleveland and also the Browns. And I do want to add that we did have a bipartisan delegation meeting the week prior with the city of Cleveland that really echoed that same sentiment, that they feel as though there's a very positive, open, and transparent relationship between the two entities, which from my perspective, any deal that happens, that needs to be the foundation that we can walk away from having a project where everyone really can be proud of and support.
And I do want to point out, I spoke with the governor's office today. The governor was not in attendance. I'm sure you can confirm that. The governor was not in attendance, but the governor has said before he supports keeping teams in the state of Ohio. He's really not on any side of whether it's downtown or Brook Park, just that for quality of living, keeping professional sports teams is important. Can I ask, in this meeting, were there renderings of what Brook Park could look like? And if so, what did it look like?
So again, from my understanding, nothing is fully baked. There's still ongoing studies in terms of what the cost and what the plausibility of the infrastructure that could exist in that area. And so there was very, again, preliminary renderings. To me, a very 50,000 foot view of kind of the idea of having, of how we can have more of an economic impact. But what I can say is that both visions, option A and option B, seem to be very thoughtful of what fans care about, of what taxpayers, and really having economic development that regardless of what happens, both projects seem to be really transformational and really exciting regardless of what happens.
Well, curious minds want to know, was the rendering in Brook Park? Can you at least tell us early rendering? Was it a dome?
Yes, and I think that's been very well publicized that for the financial reasons that it's more plausible to have a dome in Brook Park. So there was a dome over that, and Lots of parking. There's a lot more space, very clearly, within the Brook Park site. And it doesn't seem to be, from what, questions asked in that meeting, feasible, which I cannot explain why, that there doesn't seem at this time to be a dome option for staying in the city of Cleveland.
Now, with the Browns pitch, was when the Browns are in there, and you said the week prior you heard from the city of Cleveland, they have a very aggressive pitch for redoing the area around the stadium, but obviously that then becomes city-owned property entities. If you know anything about the Haslams, they're very shrewd business people, so they would probably want to develop their own area around a place in Brook Park. When you had the meeting last week with the Browns, was it solely about Brook Park, or did the Browns also show renderings of downtown?
Yeah, so they showed renderings of both options. Again, not, with any specific details of outside of what would need to happen with the stadiums, but it's definitely clear that there is the idea that with any new projects, that how do we unleash the economic potential of both options in order to make the project more feasible? And so that was very clear in terms of the city of Cleveland, but also in Brook Park.
You obviously are a representative from Northeast Ohio. We're speaking with Representative Bride Rose Sweeney from the 16th District. It kind of butts up to Brook Park. It's Westlake, North Olmsted, and Berea is the area she represents. I have to ask you, you have at least seen a portion of both ideas, Project A being downtown, Project B being Brook Park. How did you feel? How do you feel today about the idea of staying downtown or going out to Brook Park?
Well, I think it would be very premature for me as, a lawmaker that has a decision on how to spend your taxpayer money to have a opinion without seeing the actual ask, without being able to, compare, but most importantly, without actually hearing from fans, the general public, and taxpayers. I think it's really important that I have a good relationship with the city of Cleveland, with the city of Brook Park, and the Browns. However, I don't work for any of those entities. Who I work for is the people of Ohio, and that's who matters most to me. And until the public has all of the information and even more information than I have now, will I reserve any kind of decision making. And I would encourage all lawmakers to do the same.
Representative Sweeney, we're going to give you the final word here. This is the first we're hearing about this meeting. Cleveland Browns fans are on edge. Is it going to be downtown? Is it going to be something new? Is it going to be a dome? Is it open air? What do you want to leave taxpayers with as far as a very thoughtful answer you just had there? Let's not make any decisions yet. You want to hear from Browns fans. What do you want to leave people with? That seems like we as fans are caught in the middle. Is this a chess game being played between the city and the Browns and Brook Park? What do you want to leave us with?
Well, very, very sincerely, I feel very confident that both from the Browns and the city of Cleveland, that this is a very positive and thoughtful relationship, that neither party's trying to pull the hood over the other. And to me, any kind of ask from the state, that needs to be the foundation, that there is no us versus them, that this needs to make sense for all the parties involved. But most importantly, what I want your viewers to understand is that they do have power in this scenario. I represent 120,000 people. The amount of people that ever reach out to me directly is 10% would be very generous. And so, it really does make a difference if you reaching out, ohiohouse.gov, ohiosenate.gov, you type in your address, you can find exactly who represents you. Tell them how you feel. You can share your opinion now. It doesn't have to be formal. You can call, leave a message, and most lawmakers or they should respond to you and take that input before spending any of your dollars.
Representative Bride Rose Sweeney, we certainly appreciate the time. Thank you for being candid about this. A lot of politicians may want to shy away from this. You were very open and honest with us, and we certainly appreciate it. And we'll keep touch in the future. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Take care. Again, so just maybe the next step in what is a future home for the Browns. When we heard about this meeting, wanted to jump on it and get it confirmed, and now we have even more details. Not a lot, but more details on what a stadium in Brook Park would look like. At least we kind of knew it would be a dome, but now we know that there are renderings of a project in Brook Park. We'll have to see when those come out, if they ever do, from the Cleveland Browns. Should also note, we do have confirmation that Dee and Jimmy Haslam were not at that meeting last week in Columbus. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital platforms. Otherwise, look for 3.5 hours of news and weather to start at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a great afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.